everybody, Chef Sheila, the Spasmatic Chef here. Today I am so lucky. I am talking with one of our favorite people. Megan, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I am Dr. Megan, the Prednisone Pharmacist. I took prednisone and I have been trying to find all the ways I can to not only just survive prednisone, but find out how to thrive while on prednisone.
Wow, that's really cool. So Megan, you ended up taking prednisone yourself?
I did. Yeah.
What happened?
So one day I was just a mother of 4 little kids and I had a little baby and I was breastfeeding my baby and I got an infection and it was fine. I just took some antibiotics and everything was okay until a week later when these weird little spots appeared. And I had these spots like across my chest and I was like, what is that? What are those little red spots? Like, that is so weird. And then they spread all the way down to my feet by the next morning. And I was like, this is super weird. And I went to my dermatologist and they're like, we can't decide if it's this antibiotic or that antibiotic or what's causing this, but it doesn't seem to be any of them. And I was like, can you please just draw my blood? I think I'm bleeding internally. And they're like, I don't know
Wow.
about that. And they're like, fine, we'll check your blood. So they checked my blood and they frantically call me an hour later when they get the result saying, hey, you only have 3 platelets. And normally
3?
a person with healthy platelets is anywhere between 150 and 400. And I had 3.
Wow.
And they're like, you need, actually, at that moment, I had 12. When they first tested me, I had 12. They said, you need to get to the emergency room now. I'm like, okay. So I go to the emergency room and they're like, hey, by the way, you now have 3 platelets and we need to admit you. And I'm like, excuse me? No, I have 4 little kids. They need their mommy. And they're like, no,
Oh my
you
gosh.
could bleed to death. Some guy actually just died of this. He got the vaccine and he got this condition called ITP, immune thrombocytopenia, where your immune system attacks your platelets. And they said the only thing we can really do is test to find out what is causing it. And even if we find out what causes it, we have to give you high dose steroids. So I went on high dose prednisone, and then I went on high dose dexamethasone, and then I went back on prednisone, and it was this roller coaster of high doses made my platelets go high to low doses made my platelets go low. And it was just this chasing up and down for months. They said, we're going to take out your spleen because we think it's what's causing it. I'm like, no, I am not losing an organ over this.
Oh.
I am not going under the knife. And then they said, okay, fine, we'll do chemotherapy instead. I'm like, okay, whatever, chemotherapy. So I'm on prednisone and they give me chemotherapy and I'm totally miserable. I'm like,
Wow.
this is terrible. There has to be something better than this. And so I Googled prednisone vitamin. Isn't there something that could help me? Nothing came up when I Googled that. So I was like,
Right.
this is so weird. There's got to be a way to help people suffering so much while on prednisone. And so I decided to create it since nobody else did. And that's when I came up with the idea for Nutranize Zone for people on prednisone. And it has the nutrients that prednisone steals. We all know that prednisone is stealing calcium and that's how it causes osteoporosis. But most people don't know that 9 other nutrients are being stolen too. And so I put them all in here and got the best manufacturer I could to use the best ingredients so that people on prednisone and other steroids can get all the nutrients they need to replenish them, which reduces their suffering and recover from taking prednisone.
Wow. Does it help with weight?
Yes. So my goal was to put the things in there that I knew would help with the top concerns of people on prednisone. For me, that was weight, that was insomnia, not being able to sleep, that was my bones. Like, those are just the top 3 that I was concerned about. And I have tons of other ways that it helps. So it has ingredients in there that help keep a stable blood sugar. I've heard from people that it helps them lose weight, but that's not why I created it. I created it to help keep a stable blood sugar. So it is all of those things all in one. You only have to take 2 in the morning and 2 at night, and it's all you need.
Hey, can you put it up by the camera a little closer so we can see it really well? Oh, wow. So what is the other ingredients in it? I guess I didn't hear you with the other ingredients.
So it's got a lot of vitamins, such as vitamin A, C, and D, and then a whole lot of B vitamins like thiamine, niacin, riboflavin, vitamin B6, folate. And then it has a bunch of minerals: calcium, magnesium, zinc, chromium, that's my favorite, potassium. And then in the morning one, I have cassia bark, which is a fancy name for cinnamon, and berberine. And then in the bedtime, it has cinnamon and melatonin.
Oh, wow.
Sleep.
That's
so
great.
Yeah, it's designed to be the only thing you need while you're on prednisone. That you don't need any other vitamins, any other expensive things you're taking, you don't have to worry about them. You can just take this and it's got everything you need.
Wow. And so being a pharmacist, you kind of knew how to put that together and everything. Is there anything that maybe you should be concerned with when you take it? Like if you want to take like 3 of them, would that be a problem?
You could take 3 of them. I designed it for 2 because 2 will give you 100% daily value of the nutrients that you need. I wanted it to just be 1 in the morning and 1 at night, but that would have been a gigantic capsule. And I personally struggle with swallowing gigantic capsules. So I made it into 2 so that it would be easier to swallow.
Wow. How long has it been on the market?
This is the 2nd year. So it's still really brand new.
Wow. So did you do any kind of testing with it?
So it's been tested to make sure that it's potent, that what's in here is actually what I told them to put in here, and to make sure it doesn't have any like viruses or fungi or anything like that. So it's tested for safety and to make sure it's potent. But as far as efficacy, like does it actually work? I haven't actually been able to do a study yet. It's still so new, but I have tons of people who've told me how much it has really made them feel like themselves again. Just when I was on prednisone, I looked in the mirror and I'm like, who is that girl I see staring straight back at me? Like, I have no idea who this person is. I don't recognize myself inside or out. My personality is being hijacked. My appearance is being hijacked. Who is she? And people take this and they feel like themselves again.
Wow. How long does it take to work?
So this one mom, she said she gave it to her daughter, her 9-year-old daughter who was taking prednisone. And she said that after just the first dose, she said, Mom, I don't feel so angry. I can sleep. Like she was telling her mom, and she had no reason to care. Like she didn't pay, like she's a kid.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like she was so thrilled. She's like, the mom said, I didn't have to remind her to take it. Like she wanted to take it because she could tell such a difference. So that's possible to feel a difference after just 1 dose. Maybe it'll take a couple weeks. It's really dependent on what dose of prednisone you're taking, how long you've been taking it, what level of depletions you have, like how bad is it for you specifically is how much this is really going to help.
Right. Do you take it with food?
You can take it with food or without food. Either way is fine. The morning one is designed to take along with prednisone first thing in the morning with a tall glass of water. Most people take prednisone with food, so it makes perfect sense to take it with food. The only thing you wouldn't take it with is if you're on a thyroid medicine or iron supplementation. You wouldn't want to take those because this has calcium in it, and both of those would have a problem with calcium.
Wow. So where is it available?
So it's at nutranize.com, and it's spelled like that, nutranize.com, Nutranize. And it's in some pharmacies and doctor's offices, but it's still so new that it's not in all of them. You can't just Like pull up at
Right.
your local pharmacy and find it. Though a lot of them do have it, but not all of them. So
Wow. Well, I definitely will tell my friends about it, and I'm definitely going to try it because
awesome.
I mean, you're always looking for that one thing that can just get you over the hump and make you feel just a little bit better. Even if it's a little bit better, it's better.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm so excited. And I have a lot of friends who they're going to be very excited too. Wow, that's awesome. So do you have anything else that you'll be like, do you have a line of products that you're putting out, or do you just have these two, or what is
So
your plan?
far, I created this to be the only thing you need. That's the one and only thing you absolutely need while you're on prednisone. So that's what I've got so far. Hopefully in the future, I can come out with new things to support us on this steroid misery journey to help it be less miserable. But so far, this is what I've
So,
got.
so a question I have is, what if you're taking long-term steroids and, should you take this long term? Would this be okay? Or is this like, is it dependent on where you're at in your steroids or how long? What is the
Yeah,
parameter there?
you would want to take it whenever you're taking the steroids and until you feel better again. So for some people, they're on steroids forever, and then they might need this for whenever they want to feel good and they're on steroids. For other people, they're just on steroids for a short amount of time, and then they take this until they feel better. They often ask me, well, when should I stop taking it? And it's, when do you feel recovered from prednisone? Then stop taking it. For some people, that's just a day. For some people, that's a couple weeks. And for some people, that's months. It's recovering from it is very unique, very individual. It's really hard to predict. And
It
everybody always
is.
wants to know, when is my moon phase going away? When am I going to lose the weight? When, all of those things, it's like, that's not a predictable thing.
Right. Yeah, it takes time
It takes
for
time.
sure. How long did it take you till you started feeling better?
So I stopped taking prednisone in June. And then I remember somebody asking me in July, do you feel like you've recovered? And I was like, nope, I don't feel recovered. I think in August, I was finally feeling more like myself, but it was probably September, October until I was like, yeah, I'm
Wow.
me again. Like I'm back.
That's that's great that you got to the place where you felt like you were recovered.
Yeah.
I
But I didn't have
I'm
this, I wish I'd
yeah.
had it. Maybe I could have recovered
Wow.
faster.
Well, that's fantastic that you're out helping the community with this new product, and you really get it because you've been there. So I think that puts a lot of people's mind at ease when wow, she's been in the place I've been in, gaining the weight, the moon face, the personality change. It,
Yes.
it's really helpful knowing that you've been there.
I've been there. I went through that whole mess. Like I created a little cartoon of what I looked like while I was on prednisone, with a big round face, little skinny arms and legs because all my muscles were wasting, and like red cheeks and bags under my eyes. Like that is what I felt like. That's what I looked like. And I'm just
Right.
grateful that the chemotherapy worked. It wasn't fun going through chemotherapy, but it worked. And
So
so
are you cured?
I'm in remission for now. Hopefully I'm in permanent remission. It's an autoimmune condition, so it could come back at any time. It's not.
Oh, and then you could need to be back on the steroids.
Yes, so it's really just a really selfish thing. I created this because I figure like the statistics are not in my favor that I'm going to stay off prednisone. It's likely I'm going to be put on prednisone again. So when that happens, I have this for
You're
me.
prepared. That's very cool. So, is there like an age limit that you should use this?
Well, we've used it in that little 9-year-old girl, and I know that there's a 90-year-old woman on it. So
Wow.
I'd say pretty much any age. For a child, I would probably just do one capsule in
Right.
morning and bedtime instead of the two. But aside from that, I mean, you could take this even if you're not on steroids. Nothing in here is like poisonous or going to harm any person who's otherwise healthy. Like any person could take this. I probably wouldn't take it if you're pregnant. I personally don't take anything when I'm pregnant, not even Tylenol. So I'm just really hesitant. If I'm pregnant, it's just real food and that's it. I'm not taking anything else. So pregnancy would be one reason not to take it. And then if you have a really weird like metabolism disorder, like you can't metabolize folate, or I don't know. If there's some, like I learned about in pharmacy school, these incredibly rare conditions, there might be a reason there. But for 99.9% of the population, this is totally safe and appropriate.
Wow. Does it help with the fogginess in your mind? With the steroids, you get like, I don't know, you don't have focus, you lose your train of thought very easily. Does it help with that?
I have heard from lots of people who are like, I finally feel like I'm out of the fog. Like I can finally remember what's going on. I can finally interact with my children. I've got the energy to interact with them. I mean, they just talk about how it's just like lifting the veil of brain fog and things like that.
Wow. So if you were in the hospital, would you be allowed to bring that in with you? Or could you request it?
My sister-in-law, she's a pharmacist in the hospital, and they pretty much don't let you take anything. So it would be something you'd start when you'd get home, I think.
Okay. Well, that's great, though. Then you can have a plan of how you're going to start your recovery after you're starting to taper down from the steroids. And that's huge. What a great idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, I thought
maybe one idea is it takes time to get this shipped to your house. So you could order it if you get hospitalized and they're putting you on steroids, and you're protected by a 100% satisfaction return guarantee. You could return the empty bottles and you'd get your money back. So
where do you find it?
You just the guarantee or the product?
No, the product. It's just on your website?
Just on my website and in some pharmacies and doctor's offices.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. And thank you so much for sharing that with us and developing it. And on behalf of all of the steroid users that are feeling hopeless, feeling like, are we ever going to be normal? You know, oh my gosh, I'm so fat. Oh, my face is so round. On behalf of all of us, thank you so much for being able to create something that'll be so helpful.
You're so welcome. I just can't wait to hear more people tell me how it's helping them, because it just makes my day every time I hear another person say, hey, it really worked. It is helping me feel better again. So let me know when you try it, how it feels.
Absolutely. Do you have a blog or anything that, you know, we can?
Yes, that's the other thing is, so I have this website where you can find the product, nutranize.com. And then I'm also online as the Prednisone Pharmacist. So you can find me on Instagram at Prednisone Pharmacist. I'm on YouTube, youtube.com/Prednisone Pharmacist. And I have my website where you can find all of that, prednisonepharmacist.com. And I chose the 2 hardest words in the English language to spell. So prednisone, if you're on it, you know how to spell it. And pharmacist is just like the name of your pharmacy on your prescription label, except IST at the end.
Gotcha. Perfect. I didn't hear Facebook.
Oh, and Facebook.com/Prednisone Pharmacist.
Yeah, I think a lot of people really have enjoyed your Facebook, because I do know that I can't remember when, but it was a while back. I had talked with one of my friends, and they had talked about seeing you on Facebook and your group. Your group does very well. You have quite a few members on your group.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can join the group. I heart/hate prednisone.
That's so clever. And I know a lot of people need the support.
Yes.
And so it sounds like it's not only your product, but it's you, and it's kind of a support system as well.
Yes, I've got tons of advice of how to cope. Aside from taking this is my best tip, but after that, I have tons of other information about how to taper, how to like embrace your moon phase, how to eat, how to all of these tons of good information on my website. So check it out.
Wow. Thank you so much. It's been great talking to you. I really appreciate this.
You're so welcome. I'm glad we had a chance to finally meet up face to face so
Yeah.
that our two YouTube channels can meet each other and find out the great information that I love seeing your recipes, and people can find out the scientific, not so delicious looking stuff on my YouTube channel.
Oh, it's so helpful. Awesome. Great information. And we're very lucky to have someone with the credentials you have in our corner.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great day.
All right. See ya.